Hi guys, and welcome back to another video game with powers. I'm Jake, and in today's video we are continuing our Primal community campaign. Now, it has been a while since we've done one of these playthrough videos, but I thank you guys so much for your patience. You know, with school getting out towards the end of the year, things are hectic, but we are out for the summer. So my hope is to start consistently getting more of our Primal community campaign playthroughs out every week. That's going to be my hopeful goal, keeping my fingers crossed. Now that I'm out for the summer. But let's go ahead and dive right in, because I'm sure all of you know these videos can be somewhat lengthy. Where we last left off, we were in the Nismaranga jungle. We were in chapter 2, quest 41, I believe, or 39 maybe is what it was, 36, I don't know, it's one of those quests. We ended up going to the Nismaranga jungle. We ended up fighting the Haidar, and boy, we got our butts smacked and sent back to the command post, all right? Now, thankfully, in Primal, when you do get beat, you technically fail the scenario, but there's no real repercussions for you getting beat. Essentially, what happens is the campaign will not progress until you complete one of the quests. So we are staying in Chapter 2. We just have the option now to redo the same quest that we did or select another quest. Of course, I put it to a vote, and all of you guys have voted for us to take on a new quest, and that quest is quest number 46, the Ravenous Winter. So let's go ahead and take a look at this one. It says, a pack of Sirkaaj have come down from the far north and is attacking outposts built in the cold lands of Vintrar. The commander has requested a team of hunters to protect the seekers on a mission in the north. All right, guys, let me show you a nice little spot of Vintrar. So here we are in Vintrar up in these mountains of the north. Again, there's our wonderful map here. So we're going up into the north here to fight some of these Sirkaaj. So let's go ahead and jump right into our scenario introduction. As always, going down to the table, I'm going to show you the setup here, talk about the Sirkaaj, what we're looking at, and then jump right into our playthrough. All right, so introduction. You march quickly over the snowy ground of the Ventrarian tundra. Before you, a white and barren land stretches as far as the eye can see to the extreme north of the known lands. A biting, icy wind blows, and your boots sink heavily into the snow. It is a still dark night, and only the twinkling of the stars in their iridescent colors can pierce the gloomy, depressing air that surrounds you. What is said about the northern sky is true. These remote places offer a glimpse into a unique, dreamlike celestial landscape. The firmament of Thyrea seems to light up the life to contrast the ghostly panorama of these lands, which have been strangled of all vitality by the grip of frost. You feel drawn to the vivid ethereal sky. It is as if some power is filtering through those iridescent chinks and trying to reach you through the light of the constellations. The outposts were built in these remote lands at the northernmost point explored by humankind in order to unravel the mysteries of the sky there. The edge of the world, they call it. Today, the scene of the bestial battle with the monsters and creatures that live there. You come to a halt. In front of you, the evidence of that battle is real and brutal. You race forward to what remains of the Seeker's outpost, which has been utterly destroyed. Myra does a quick reconnaissance of the surrounding area and then returns to get your attention. There are footprints in the snow leading away from the attack site. You follow the tracks in the snow until you see a shadow moving around the ice-encrusted bushes. A lone Sirkaaj, its jaws still stained with blood, moves furtively. It is hunting something. Its breathing is frantic, and it is nervously sniffing out its prey. There is no time to lose. Driven by your anger towards the creature, you grit your teeth and unsheath your weapons. Under the reflection of the northern stars, your roars resound in the gloomy silence of winter. All right, guys, so there is a picture of the Sirkaaj that we are going to be fighting. Jaw right there, he's got the blood stain still on it. Boy, does he look vicious. So let's go ahead and jump down to the table and let's do battle with the Sirkaaj. All right, guys, so we are down here at the table where we have everything set up for our playthrough of fighting the Sirkaaj here. All right, so as always, we're going to go ahead and dive in and talk about what I have for equipment with our hunters. We're going to talk about their Sirkaaj. We'll go over to the other camera over here and take a look at the battle setup, and then we'll jump right in. So, starting with our heavy gun character, a lot of this is going to look familiar to the Haidar setup because the potions and stuff I do get to keep if I do get defeated. But we are going to go back to our Ignis weapon here. Alright, our Ignis weapon will have 6 reds, 5 blue, 4 yellow, and 5 green. Alright, we're going to be dealing 4 base damage, and whenever I ignite, which is spend a bullet, I place a counter on the behavior discard pile that can have a max of 3 counters. And whenever the monster does escalation, which is he basically decks out of his behavior deck, the monster will suffer 1 damage for each counter on the behavior discard pile, and then I would remove one of these counters. Alright, we are rocking with this feathered coat. Alright, so when you move, if you are not the aggro player, you may reveal a green card from your hand to ignore the movement cost. As always, we have our generic base helm here, which I'm going to get on all of y'all for not providing me with a better helm. Red scale armor. Alright, start. If my health is critical, draw 1 card. Critical is half my health rounded down, and that's going to be 6 health. That base helm is going to provide me with 4 health. Alright, we have a Vidya potion. So discard a card from your hand to search your deck for an offensive card and add it to your hand, then shuffle your deck. And of course, we have our lovely Alamore potion, which allows me to heal 2, but if the attrition pile, if that top card on there is 1 or lower, we will heal 4 instead. And as always, we are still rocking with the same mastery. We have not unlocked a new mastery yet. Precision reload. When you reload, place a counter on this card. And then we have our bullet track up to 3. So that is our heavy gun character. Taking a look at our dual blade character, we are rocking with our dragon wings weapon here. Alright, so we're going to have 6 red, 4 blue, 5 yellow, and 5 green. 3 base damage, but whenever we empty our deck, this will get +1 damage. That can be a max of 4 times per game. Alright, we are going to have the same feathered coat, same base helm, same red scale armor, same Alamore potion. However, we do have an Imperial potion right here. Suffer 2 damage equal to your weapon level and draw 2 cards. And as always, we are still rocking with our same mastery here, Piercing Dash. When you overrun the monster, place a counter on this card. Okay, those are our 2 hunters. Everything's set up there. Now, what's kind of interesting to me is as we look over here at the Sirkaaj, his elemental weakness is actually not fire, which is interesting to me being an ice monster. His elemental weakness is horn, metal, and poison. Okay, so if I was able to defeat that poison monster, we could have had an elemental advantage to him. But, of course, he's going to start with 10 health. Here are his behavior cards, which I'll go into those in a second because I'm going to need to look that one up. But let's take a look at his first stance card, all right? So, he is going to have 5 toughness per player. At the start of round 1, Sirkaaj will gain struggle -1, or struggle per player -1, all right? These are the zones right here, so left, right, and rear. He's going to be doing 1 damage, and when we get him to 7 wounds, he will bring out stance number 2. All right, his peril card here. This is a permanent card. This is called Out for Blood. So when a player suffers damage, they discard the top cards of their deck. All right, so he is trying to make us deck out as quickly as possible. And our objective card, this is permanent, is called Warm Up here. And if we play 2 greens back to back in our sequence, we may place up to 2 of your exiled cards on top of your deck in the order that you choose. So there are going to be certain cards that the Sirkaaj has, or certain effects, where instead of discarding cards from the top of my deck, I will exile cards from my deck, meaning they are no longer in play and I cannot use them. So this will allow me to basically recover those exile cards, all right? So then we have the Sirkaaj behavior deck. So we have anytime a character plays a yellow, we have threatened, and this right here, this one is a new That is a new symbol that I have not seen yet. So give me just a second to show you guys what that is. So that is going to be at the end of the attrition phase right there. So at the end of the attrition phase, that will go ahead and target. Okay, so that is everything we have right here on the top camera. Let's go ahead and jump over to that side camera where we have everything set up on our battlefield. All right, guys, so we are here on the battlefield. We see the menacing Sirkaaj right here. Of course, we have our two hunters in the front sector. Now, you'll see these ice elements, all right? We have ice in each of the 4 sectors. So this is a new type of terrain that is introduced here. And what the ice is going to do is anytime a hunter ends their turn in a sector with ice and is threatened, they will need to exile a card. Let me just double check and make sure that is correct here. So at the end of your turn, if you are in a sector with an ice terrain and you are threatened, you will exile the top card of your deck. All right, so the top card of your deck will be exiled. So we have each of those in our 4 sectors. In the left sector, we also have some rock. All right, this is our first time seeing a rock terrain. What this does is if I am in a sector with rock during the attrition phase, I can kind of essentially hide behind this rock here and let the attrition damage, the rock take the attrition damage, and then it will get removed from the game, okay? So that's on our left sector and on our right sector as well. And then in our rear sector, of course, we have our Bathanus plant, which will heal us for 1, and there is an ice sector as well. All right, well, look, that is the battlefield. That is everything else we need for setup. Let's go ahead and jump back over to the top camera and get ready to play. All right, guys, so we are ready to dive into our playthrough of the Sirkaaj here, quest number 46. All right, so starting up top with our consume phase here. Well, actually, at the start of round 1, the Sirkaaj is going to gain struggle -1. So he will just be gaining 1 struggle here. So 1 struggle per player -1. So he would gain 1 struggle right off the bat for that. We would now go into the consume phase, and of course there's nothing that I really want to consume. All right, we would go ahead and do the monster upkeep. So we would not refresh anything, but he will gain struggle. So he will now be at 3 struggle. And then we would go ahead and take the player turn. So let's go ahead and give this a nice little shuffle here and draw my 5 cards with the dual blade character. She is the aggro. Whoop, that's half my deck right there. She is the starting character here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And let's see what we got here. All right, so we have twist. All right, we have reactive defense, shadow step, backstab, and air blade. All right, so those are the 5 cards we have, and we are ready to rock. All right, so first of all, we need to go ahead and move. We need to figure that out. We definitely don't want to become threatened, right? Because these glaciers are going to be a pain in the butt. So if you take a look at our hand here, I think what we do is I could chain that after a red. So when you suffer damage, discard this card from your hand. Maybe do Shadow Step, all right? So we will get rid of Shadow Step to go ahead and move, all right? And I think we are going to move into this sector over here on the right, all right? We're going to move into the right sector, all right? Now let's go ahead and play some cards. So I think what we're going to do is, so I could chain this. I could draw a card. Yeah, let's see where we're at. Okay. So I think the first thing what we're going to do is just play backstab. All right. So this is going to be for free. This is going to give me stealth, which means no color behaviors would activate if I played this. And then our effect here, when you overrun the monster, that is basically just going to be nullified right here. So we are just going to drop that down in there. Okay. We are now going to go ahead and do some damage. So we are just dealing our base weapon damage to the Sirkaaj. So our base weapon damage here is 3. All right. So we will just go ahead and deal 3 straight up damage to the Sirkaaj. Now again, none of these are going to activate because that's yellow, threatened, and that's going to be after the attrition phase. Okay, so that is our first step. The next step we're going to do is I will play an Airblade, all right? So this is going to be an aggro card, but however, I already have aggro, so I'll keep it. And I will get rid of reactive defense here. Ooh, actually, do I get rid of active defense? When I suffer damage, I can discard to overrun a monster and draw a card. That would get me closer to my mastery, which I really do want. So I'm actually going to get rid of twist here. So I will spay my 1 stamina for Airblade with twist. All right, so I can chain this after a yellow. If I play this after a blue, I would remove 1 struggle. So none of those are really going to be in effect there. So we are paying for this with twist. All right. Again, no abilities to activate. So we will just go ahead and be dealing straight damage. Because I have 2 back-to-back offensive cards, we are going to be activating Battle Dance. All right, so Battle Dance, I get 3 bonus damage on top of the 3 already. So I have 6 total damage coming out. So that's 6, 7, 8, 9. So what I might just do is we're going to go 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. All right. So 9 damage was coming out there. Again, that's that 3 from my base and 3 from Battle Dance for playing 2 offensive cards back to back. Okay. Now I only have 1 card left in my hand, so obviously I cannot use this. So we'll just go ahead and play that face down. We do need to go into the attrition phase here. So we have an attrition level of 1. All right, and unfortunately, I do not have anything in there, so I will be taking a damage. However, I will be playing reactive defense. So when you suffer damage, you may discard this card from your hand to immediately overrun the monster and draw 1 card. All right, so I will immediately overrun the monster coming over here, and then I will get to draw 1 card. So let me go ahead and draw my 1 card. We have Echoing Blades. All right, Echoing Blades, draw 2, and this card a card from hand. Okay, because I overrun the monster here, I would get 1 focus for my mastery. All right, and then I will need to take some damage, and I would merely just take 1 damage. Now, Out for Blood is going to activate, so anytime a player suffers damage, they must discard the top 2 cards of their deck. So we will discard 1 and we will discard 2. Okay, so that is going to be everything for the attrition step. So now we are at the end of the attrition step. So we will need to activate this bad boy. So what is this? Biting Cold. All right. The red color of blood and white of frost sparkle on the tips of its fangs. Boost card. The active player exiles the top card of their deck. So he will be spending 1 struggle token here. So he would move down to 2. And I will be exiling the top card of my deck, which is Offensive Attitude. So I'm just going to place this off to the side, off screen, and have an exiled pile. All right. We would need to go ahead and now refill the behavior card. And I believe that is going to be when the monster turns. Effect for there. Yep. So we have right here, after the monster turns to face a different sector or changes its orientation, we will activate that. So that's interesting. This guy is interesting. Okay. So what we would now do is discard all cards in my sequence. So we would go ahead and discard both of these cards in my sequence. We would draw cards up to my hand size. So I need total cards. So that's 1, 2, that's 3, that's 4, and that's 5. So those are my 5 new cards there. All right. And then the monster is going to turn to the aggro player, and we are going to activate this. So I'm going to activate this and then turn the monster. Hopefully this is not going to be anything in the front sector. So what would happen is, okay, so this will not affect anybody. So it would say each player in the rear sector suffers damage unless they discard a green from their hand. If there are no players in the rear sectors, players in the flank sectors are targeted instead. So this actually will affect one of our hunters, which will affect our... let me go over to that side camera. So the monster would have turned here to face the dual blade character. We had nobody in the rear, but now it's the hunters in the flank sector, which is our heavy gun character. Okay, so let's see. We actually need to get the heavy gun character prepped up. So it says each player in the rear sector would suffer damage. So players in the flank sector would be targeted instead. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The heavy gun character can discard a green in order to not take a damage, and we just might. When you would suffer damage, you may discard a card from your hand to prevent that damage. I mean, it's technically the same thing. Well, the next red you play this turn gains stealth. While this card is on top of your discard pile, prevent any attrition damage you would suffer. Let's see. Basically, I'm discarding top 2 cards of my deck. Yeah, you know what? We'll just get rid of prompt jump. I mean, it's pretty much the same thing, right? So prompt jump, I will discard this from my hand in order to not take any damage, okay? So that will be the conclusion of the dual blade character's turn. So we would now go into the actual heavy gun character's turn. So because we have feathered coat, remember, if we are not the aggro player, we can reveal a green card from our hand to ignore the movement cost, okay? So that is exactly what we are going to do. So we will move behind here into the rear sector. And of course, we get to move for free. And now we get to play some cards. So when you discard this card from your hand, reload 1 or deal your base weapon damage. You may spend a bullet to deal 3 damage. If you do, you may immediately move without paying any stamina cost. The next red you play this turn gains stealth. That might actually be very useful. So here's what I can do is, okay, so I got this. So we will play long range, okay? So I will need to spend 1 for that, which I'm going to spend this quick shot. So the next red I play gains stealth. When this card is on top of discard pile, prevent any attrition damage you would suffer. So we are going to play a green. We will discard quick shot. Now I can either reload 1 or deal my base weapon damage here, but I will deal my base weapon damage for that. Okay, so we will need to deal my base weapon damage, which is going to be 4, okay? So 1 is going to bring him to that 10 threshold, all right, and deal a wound, and we will have 3 left over. So he is down to 9, okay? Let me just make sure we have no greens, okay? We're not threatened, and my next red is actually going to be stealthed out. What does that say? When a player suffers damage, they would discard. Okay, so we have no effects that will activate based on him taking a wound. I do love that, you know. That Pazis and that Haidar are pretty tough in that regard. So that is basically the first card we're playing, and we are good to go. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is play Barrage of Bullets. I will need to spend strafing for that 1 stamina. And this is going to have aggro, all right? Now, if you do remember, this red card is going to have stealth. So that means the red behavior that our Sirkaaj has will not activate. So let me go ahead and discard that. And Barrage of Bullets, all right? We can spend any number of bullets to increase the damage this attack deals by 2. for each bullet spent this way, okay? We are going to be spending all 3 of my bullets, all right? We're going down to 0, adding 6 extra damage to this ability. Again, because we have stealth, this red is not going to activate, and we are essentially dealing 10 damage. So what I'm going to do is not place any counters on the card. I'm just going to drop him down 1 to number 8, all right? Because 10 damage would be enough to basically cause a wound. So we'll just cause a wound, and then he would still have that 3 damage left over. I have no more cards in my hand, so we will need to go into the attrition phase. So we do have a 1, however, we do have a green here to prevent that. And we do got a green to prevent that, so I will take no attrition damage. All right. We will go ahead and discard all of our cards in our sequence there. We will need to draw back up, and actually he should get the aggro token, or the heavy gun character should get the aggro token there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, so we have 5. Cannonball, recharging, rapid ignition, ranged, and cover fire. Ooh, that's a pretty big hand right there. Okay, so that was all that. Now the monster will turn to the aggro player here. And let me get that. I do apologize if that was blurry for a second there. So we are going to turn to the aggro player, which will technically, he would kind of turn that way, but we'll put the heavy gun character staring him down right there. Okay. So he will turn to the aggro player, and that will be the end of our round. So we will need to drop this down to round number 2, and we will take it back up top with the consume phase. So do I want to consume anything here? Let me look at this character. We got some blues. We got some things that we can do here. I think I'm not going to consume anything. I'm going to hold on to what we got, all right? So now we would go to monster upkeep, so behavior refresh. We will go ahead and discard this yellow, and he will put a rampage card out there. Woo-wee! All right, he is going to gain 1 struggle, so he would gain 2 struggles, bringing him up to 3. So again, that's 1 struggle per player. So he will be up to 4. All right, and then we will take it back up top with our heavy gun character. Now, our heavy gun character is an aggro player, so we will need to discard a card to move. And, man, I got a lot of red. When another player would suffer addition damage, discard this card from your hand to prevent that damage. While this card is the top card of your discard pile, it counts as a green in your sequence. You know what? That might be pretty good. That might be a pretty good one. So ranged, I will go ahead and discard this as my movement. All right, so this will be discarded as my movement, and we'll take it back up top over here. So I want to move over here to this sector, right? So I'm not going to become threatened, and we are in an attackable range. All right, so let's see. Let's go ahead and focus in on that. All right, so let's see the cards that we got. We got Cannonball, we have Recharging, Rapid Ignition, and Cover Fire. So if I play a red, he is going to activate. So I think the first thing we do, which is smart, is let's reload 2. All right, so play 1. This is not going to draw aggro, but we already have aggro, and I need to get rid of a card. So you may spend a bullet to search your discard pile for a red. When another player would suffer attrition damage, you may discard your card to prevent this damage. That could be useful. Cannonball is really good, so I could save up for Cannonball and not necessarily activate that red. I think we get rid of Rapid Ignition here. So I will spend Rapid Ignition, and yeah, we'll get rid of Rapid Ignition as payment, and we will get to go ahead and reload. Do that, there we go. We will get to go ahead and reload 2. So 1 and 2. Remember, anytime we reload, we place a counter on this card. And because Recharging was a blue, here I get to remove one struggle. So one struggle gets removed from him. All right, continuing on with my turn here. So I have cover fire and cannonball. I think I'm just going to end my turn. I think I'm just going to end my turn here and hold on to these two cards and see what the dual blade character do. Okay, so we will need to go into our attrition phase. So we have an attrition level of 2, so we will be taking damage, unfortunately. This says when another player would suffer attrition damage, okay? So we will need to take 1 damage. All right, and of course, whenever we suffer damage, discard the top 2 cards of our deck. All right, that's not that bad. That's not that bad. Okay, so that was our attrition phase. End of the turn, we'll need to discard all of our cards in our sequence. We would need to draw back up to our hand size. So we're going to draw 3 cards here. We got 1, 2, and 3. And because I had 2 cards in my hand, I will get a stamina token. Okay, so the last thing we'll need to do is have the monster turn to the aggro player. So the Sirkaaj is going to turn to the dual blade, or turn to the heavy gun character because she has aggro, and we're now going to the dual blade character's turn. Okay, so right off the bat, if I can reveal a green, which I do have a green, because we are not the aggro player, we do have this feathered coat. I can ignore movement. I can ignore the cost of movement and move for free. So we will go ahead and move to the rear sector here. All right. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, so I have Shadow Strike, I have Scythe, Run Through, Disengage, and Echoing Blades. Shadow Strike, I love to see it right there. Your cards gain stealth until the end of the turn. When you overrun the monster, you may discard this card from your hand and draw 2. This is for free. This will not draw aggro, so I will definitely enjoy playing this Shadow Strike here. So we're not going to go to the other camera. I'm actually just going to flip this over because we would remove 1 struggle and then add 1 more struggle to him, okay? So all of my cards gain stealth until the remainder of the turn, so I do not have to worry about activating anything. So actually what I can also do now is Scythe. All right, I can play this for free because I can chain. Let me make sure. Can be played without paying a stamina cost if you play it after. All right, so it's after. So I can chain a blue after this card. All right, I always got to remember, I think it's I can play this card for free. Okay. So let's play Echoing Blades here, all right? Let's play Echoing Blades. So if I play this after a offensive card, I get to draw 2 and then discard a card from my hand. I will need to pay 1 stamina for this. And when the monster changes its orientation, you may discard this card. You may immediately overrun the monster. I think I'm going to hold on to overrunning the monster and get rid of Disengage here, even though it is 2 stamina. So, Echoing Blades, all right, I can draw 2 cards and then discard a card from my hand. So let's see, I have Finesse and Cut Through. You may immediately overrun the monster if you do draw 1 card. I think that's actually a better option than Run Through, because basically now I get to overrun and draw a card. So we will discard Run Through. Okay. And we now need to do some damage, all right? So Echoing Blades is going to deal attack damage. Because I have another offensive card on my sequence, I get to do Battle Dance. So I will be dealing my base weapon damage plus an additional 3. So 6 damage coming out. So 9 damage is going to be on the Sirkaaj right there, okay? Again, this red is not going to activate because of my Shadow Strike. All of my cards have stealth until the remainder of my turn. Okay, continuing with my turn, what I can actually do is, oh man. Okay, so I think we're gonna get wild. We're gonna get spicy here. So next I'm gonna play Scythe. Okay, so I will need to spend 1 from this. I will pay for it with finesse here. Assist, I can chain a blue after this for free, and I remove one struggle, okay? So we will pay for that with finesse, all right? So we're paying for that with finesse, and now I'm going to be dealing some more damage and removing one struggle. So remove one struggle, and then dealing my base weapon damage, which is 3, all right? So 3 is coming out. We would need one more to go ahead and cause a wound. All right, so one more is going to cause a wound. We're going to bring him down to 7. All right, when he goes down to 7, guess what? Stance 1 is gone and stance 2 is coming out. All right, so let's take a look at stance 2 here. So 6 toughness per player, all right. When revealed, Sirkaaj gains struggle equal to the number of exiled cards. All right, he's not going to get to stance 3 till 2 wounds. Again, the rear sector and the flank sectors are going to be damage spots, and he is dealing 1 damage to me, okay? So I only have 1 exiled card at the moment, so he will just be gaining 1, all right? Next, we need to have our next peril card. So this Alpha Blood is permanent, all right? So what I'm going to need to do is actually move my discard pile down there, and we need to make some room here for these permanent cards. Okay, so this is going to say Wrath of the Beast. All right, when the monster unleashes, all right, players with 5 or less cards in their deck suffer double damage instead of the normal damage from Unleash, okay? That Unleash step is whenever he gets the required amount of struggle to unleash, which in a 2-player game is going to be 6 total struggle. So I need to really work on managing his struggle, okay? But that should be the rest of that, and we have 2 damage that is going to be left over there for him. And let me tighten some of this stuff up. Right there. Okay, boom, boom, boom. All right, perfect. So again, the red is not going to activate because all of my cards have stealth. All right, last but not least, I do have 1 card left in my hand, which is a blue. Now I can play this for free because I can chain a blue after this red card. So cut through, you may immediately overrun the monster if you do draw 1 card. So I will play cut through for free. We're going to do the ability first. So I will immediately overrun the monster. All right, so overrun him and draw 1 card. All right, so we will draw Divert here. All right, so we're drawing Divert. And because I have overrun the monster, I would put a second mastery on this, which is going to focus this up, which now gives me Piercing Dash, which is anytime I overrun the monster, I can deal my base weapon damage or draw 1 card. Okay, so this card will go into my hand. Now I must deal some damage. So I have played 4 offensive cards in my sequence in a row. So I would activate the next level of Battle Dance, and I'm going to be dealing 5 damage to him, okay? And now this damage will go to him even though he's not in a sector. So like if you notice here, my dual blade character is in this front sector. The Sirkaaj or any monster, boss monster, can take damage in that sector that's not available to attack. You just cannot play red offensive cards in that sector to attack that monster. But any other effect that requires you to deal damage to them, you can still do that from one of those non-available sectors. So again, in this scenario, because I'm activating a special Battle Dance, I can deal damage to him, not because I played that red card. I hope that makes sense. I hope I wasn't confusing you with that. So that was my 4th card of my sequence. We did 5 damage to the Sirkaaj. Did I remove? I don't think I removed a struggle token. So if I did, I apologize. So we removed that struggle, and that is going to be everything there. So while I'm here on this top camera, oh, I get super lucky with a 0. All right, so I take no damage whatsoever. I have one card left in my hand, so I'll need to discard all the cards in my sequence there, draw back up. So I have 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4. Okay, so I need one more card, and actually there is 5, okay? So that is all 5 of my cards. We have decked out, all right? So when we deck out, when I empty my deck, the Dragon Wings gets +1 damage, all right? I will suffer a damage for fatigue damage, and then we will shuffle our deck up. So the fatigue damage you will suffer equal to your weapon level. So again, right now, because everything is level 1, I would only deal 1 damage. All right, so these are all 5 of my cards. And that is the end of my turn. The monster will now turn to the aggro player. All right, so we have the aggro players right up top there. Let me get the clearer picture there. All right, right up top there. So that was actually the end of the second round here. So let's go ahead and drop this down to round number 3. And we are taking it back up top. So the consume phase. I don't think I want to consume anything. Well, actually, you know what? I could do a little spicy thing here, so I might. So I will do the Imperia Potion. So this one, suffer damage equal to your weapon level and draw 2 cards. All right, so suffer damage equal to my weapon level, which will be 1, and we'll draw 2 cards. Reactive Defense and Shadow Step. All right, that's good there. Add those to my long list of cards there. All right, and then what I will do is activate my Alamore Potion. All right, and because there is a 0 on the top of the attrition deck here, I can heal for 4, which will basically heal me for 3, and I'm fully healed. Okay, for our heavy gun character, we do have a lot of stuff there, so we don't really need to worry about the video. We don't need to worry about that Alamore Potion right now. Okay, so that's consume phase. Monster upkeep, behavior refresh. So we would go ahead and discard both of these cards. All right, and we're putting 2 new cards out, wow, which are all reds. Woo-wee. And then he's need to get 2 struggle per player, so he is at 3. And then we are starting with the aggro player, which is our heavy gun character. Now, we are going to need to do 2 things. So our heavy gun character is in a sector with a Bothanus plant, which allows us to heal for 1 at the start of our turn. So we're going to heal that. And then we need to discard a card for movement. And wow, I can draw a lot of cards here. You may spend a bullet to increase this attack by 3. When another player would suffer attrition damage, this card just to prevent that damage. Man, okay. Ooh, I really like Cannonball. Stun the monster, increase the damage it deals by 4. But I really like this and this. You know what? I think I'm going to do something crazy here. And get rid of Cannonball. Just because I don't have 3 bullets right now. And because there's 3 reds, no matter if I play Cannonball, I can only stun one of those. So, you know, they're basically going to pop up all anyway. So let me discard Cannonball. All right. That will be my movement. And, well, actually, no, I don't even have to discard Cannonball because I have a stamina token. So I will spend my stamina token in order to move here. Okay. So we are going to move to the right sector. Right there, and let's go ahead and do our turn. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is play Pressing Shot. So draw 1. If your bullet track is 1 or higher, draw 2 instead. All right, so we will need to get rid of a card here. Draw X, where X is your bullet track, so I can draw more cards. Again, I get rid of Cannonball. I really do think I get rid of Cannonball here in this situation, because I could spend a bullet, increase attack damage, just deals by 3. When another player would suffer attrition damage, that might actually be useful. I think that's going to be the most useful. This is going to cost 4 stamina. Okay. With the payoff is going to be 8 total damage. I would stun 1. You know what? I think I might hang on to that, and I will discard Gunfire. Okay, I think I will discard Gunfire. I got faith that, but Gunfire is really good too. I don't know, guys. This is a tricky situation here with what I do. I like Cannonball because I can stun a card, so that might be able to help me after I get through all these reds of stuff coming out. I can kind of control what gets activated and what doesn't, but the hard part is I have to have 3 bullets. So I only have 2 bullets right now. So I'm going to have to play a card to reload, and then I would have to play Cannonball. I will be drawing a lot of cards, so that's going to be helpful. So I could potentially get something to reload and play Cannonball this turn, but I don't know. I could spend a bullet to deal 7 damage. You know what? I think I'm just going to get rid of Gunfire. I think I get rid of Gunfire here to play Pressing Shot. Okay, so we will draw 2 cards. So Swift Deflection and Exertion. Discard, generate stamina for 2 cards. Okay, so I also get to remove 1 struggle from the monster here. And let's continue with our turn. So I think we will play Haul of Bullets. Draw X, where X is equal to your bullet track. All right, and I will pay for that with this card. When you discard this card from your hand, draw 1 card. So I will be drawing 3 total cards, 2 from my bullet, 1 from Swift Deflection, and I have 3 cards. So Tactical Reload, draw 1, and I may shuffle all reds from my discard pile into my deck. So those are all 3 of the cards that I am drawing here. I have decked out, so I will need to take a damage here. And actually, I just realized something that I didn't do last time. So this is interesting. So when it says the Alpha Blood for the Sirkaaj, okay, does technically, I'm going to have to look at the rule book. Here's what I'm thinking. This says when a player suffers a wound or damage, they discard the top 2 cards of their deck. Technically, when I fatigue out or suffer damage, but maybe it might be specifically to the cards of the monster, which I think that's what it means. Let me see if I can find fatigue damage really quickly. Deplete, suffering damage. Fatigue damage. No, see, I don't think I would discard for fatigue or Imperial Potion damage. I think it's just from the actual monster itself, okay? If I'm playing that wrong, I do apologize. So I went ahead and suffered my damage for fatigue. I went ahead and reshuffled my deck, and now we get to continue with my turn. So reload 3, draw 1. You may shuffle all red from your discard pile into your deck. Let's go prompt reflexes to draw another card. I mean, I feel like that's a waste. We'll go prompt reflexes. Let's go prompt reflexes and get rid of this blue. All right, prompt reflexes, get rid of this blue to draw 1 card. Let's see what we get. We get prompt jump. When you would suffer damage, you may discard this card from your hand to prevent that damage. Man. Okay. I'm not getting what I want here. I am not getting all of those cards, and I'm not getting what I want. Reload. So I need to keep these 3. When you would suffer damage, you may discard to prevent that damage. I kind of don't want to end my turn because that's going to stall things out, but let's see. When a player would suffer attrition damage, do we get rid of all of these reds right now? Do we run the risk? I think, you know what, YOLO. In the great words of certain people, let's hit them with the YOLO. Let's go cover fire. So the 4th card in my sequence will be covered fire right there. All right. So I will be dealing base weapon damage to him and dealing base weapon damage to him. And we will see what all these reds do. All right. So I will be dealing 4 damage to him. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right. So we will just flip this over. That will be 11 damage to them. And I also forgot to do this ignite that one time. I just remembered that right now. But we are activating all these reds. So we're just going to activate them in order. Okay. So this one. Revenge. The active player becomes threatened. If that player is already threatened, they would suffer a wound. Okay, so the active player is the heavy gun here. They are going to become threatened. All right, so that's not that bad. All right, Sirkaaj gains 1 struggle per player. The active player becomes threatened. If that player is already threatened, they suffer damage. Okay, so 2 struggle for the Sirkaaj here. All right, so we will go to, basically he's at 4 because he gets 1 struggle per player. So he's at 4. The active player is already threatened, so we will suffer damage and discard the top 2 cards of our deck. And there was my reload 1 card. That is very unfortunate, all right? Players with 5 or less cards in their deck suffer ×2. Obviously, we don't have more than less than 5 cards in our deck, all right? The last one here, the active player suffers damage unless they discard a defensive card from their hand. If that player has 3 exile cards or more, they suffer +1 instead of just the normal damage. So defensive card, when you would suffer damage, you may discard this card to prevent that damage. So again, pretty much it's the same thing. So I'll just get rid of that defensive card. I suffer no damage. Okay, so those are all 3 of my behavior cards for red. So now we need to put some new behavior cards out. So boom. All right, the monster is going to escalate. All right, and for that escalation, he gains 1 struggle. All right, he gains 1 struggle. Let me actually make sure. I can't remember if it's 1 struggle or is it 1 struggle per player. Let me double check. Apologies, guys. Again, just want to make sure I am doing this correctly. Boost, escalation. The monster will gain 1 struggle. All right, perfect. So he only gains 1, so I survived that. We need to continue to shuffle this deck up and see what we get here. All right. So threatened and yellow. Okay. So that was that. I do now can continue with the heavy gun character's turn. I can play 1 more card if I want to. I think I'm going to hold on to what I got. All right. So we would now go into the attrition phase. I am threatened here. So we will go with the highest, which is 3. I only have 2 defensive cards in my sequence because I just have a green and a yellow. So that will be damage for me. Let me see if there's anything. Nope. All right. So 1 damage for the heavy gun character. We will need to discard the top 2 cards of our deck. Well, actually, when this card, prevent that damage. Nope. Okay. So boom and boom. All right. So that was attrition damage right there. Now we do have to discard the sequence. Discard all cards in my sequence. All right, draw back up. So we are only drawing 2 cards. So 1 and 2. Okay. And because I had more than 2 cards in my hand, we will get a nice stamina token right there. Last but not least, the monster will need to turn to the aggro player. All right, and because I am in a sector with ice and I am threatened, I will need to exile the top card of my deck. All right, so the top card, Rapid Ignition, is getting exiled. All right, that is the heavy gun character's turn. Let's take a look at our dual blade character here, and hopefully we can do some work. Do I have a green? I do have one green. Okay, so the dual blade character can move for free. All right, so dual blade character is actually going to move over here. All right, and let's go ahead and do some things, okay? We have a lot of options here. So we have start your turn in a front sector, threatened, and yellow. So basically, I can play a lot of cards that I want. So when you suffer damage, discard this card from your hand to immediately overrun the monster and draw one. Piercing Strike, and may either if there are more cards, you can play this without paying a stamina cost. Crescent Strike, increase your sequence limits, draw one. If that card is a red, you may play as the next card in your sequence. When a behavior card is revealed, you may discard this card from your hand to immediately overrun the monster. Okay, so I like what I got here. So let's go. Let's go Crescent Strike first. Okay, so we'll play Crescent Strike first. This is a aggro card, so I need to take aggro. I will get to increase my sequence limit by one this turn. Let's see here. If you have 3 or more cards in your sequence, you can play this card without paying its stamina cost. When a behavior card is revealed, immediately overrun a monster. You may immediately move without paying any stamina cost. We will get rid of my green. All right, we'll get rid of Shadow Step. All right, Shadow Step for Crescent Strike. So we will just be dealing base damage to our Sirkaaj. So we now have 4 damage coming to the Sirkaaj. So 1 here is going to be causing a wound, all right? And then there is going to be 3 left over, so he is at 6 wounds. All right, nothing is going to activate there because I activated nothing. All right, moving on. Here we go. Piercing Strike. I will be able to play Piercing Strike for free because I can chain a red to this Crescent Strike. Yeah, so we will play Piercing Strike, and I may immediately overrun the monster. All right, I may immediately overrun the monster. So I will overrun the monster. Well, here's where it gets interesting. So technically, I don't think I would be able to do damage because even though I played this card in the rear, when I overrun, I ended up in the front. So now I'm attacking from the front. So we are not going to, that's how I would take it as, because he cannot be attacked from the front. So I'm not going to overrun. I will put this finesse card back. All right, we're going to put that finesse card back, and I'm just going to be doing straight damage to him. So we have another 4 coming out. We have activated Battle Dance. So we have another 3. All right, so that's going to be 7, 8, 9, and 10. So 10 total damage on our Sirkaaj right there. Okay, so continuing on now, we will play... do I want to play Perfection? Draw 1 card if it's a red. Ooh, I should have played Perfection first and then had my row of red. But anyway, that wouldn't have been a red. I do need to get some rid of these. Let's see what this yellow does. All right, I'm going to play Perfection, all right? We will play Perfection for 1, get rid of Wall of Blades. So I can draw 1 card, all right? If that card is a red, I may play it as the next card in my sequence without paying its stamina cost. And of course, our card is not going to be a red. All right, we do need to activate this behavior card now. So Sirkaaj gains 1 struggle per player, then the active player draws 1 card. Oh, look at that. That's so cool. So draw a card. All right, we get twist. Okay, he also gains 1 struggle per player, so that is actually going to have him unleash right there. So leash, he would go down to 2. So we'd go down to 1 struggle per player, and he's going to hit us each for 1. All right, we'll start with the dual blade character because I got some stuff that I want to do about that. So you may discard this card from your hand to immediately overrun a monster. Discard your hand to immediately overrun a monster and draw 1 card. Okay, so we'll do this first. So a behavior card was revealed. I may immediately discard this card from my hand to overrun a monster. All right, so I would overrun him from the front. Okay, and do I want to... I'm going to deal my base weapon damage, which would be 3. All right, so that's going to take him down to 5. So 2 would get him to 12, which would cause a wound, and we'd have 1 left over. All right, and then when I would suffer damage, you may discard this card from your hand to immediately overrun a monster and draw 1 card. So I would then go ahead and overrun him back. I'm going to go ahead and deal another 3 damage to him. So that's 1, that's 4. Coming out to him. Okay, so that was the unleash. All right, so players with 5 cards or less in their deck will suffer ×2 damage. We are suffering 1 damage with the dual blade character first, so we will discard the top 2 cards of our deck. All right, boom and boom. That's unfortunate that Shadow Strike is out. All right, we do not have 5 cards or less. The heavy gun character, 1, 2, 3, 4, he does have 5 cards or less in their deck. So they are going to suffer ×2, which is basically 2 damage. All right, so basically that's going to just put him at 5. All right, 5. We'll go there. All right. And I need to get aggro. He should have aggro. All right, perfect. So... that would be 5 damage for him, and he would need to discard the top 2 cards of his deck. Okay, so that was the unleash that was done by the monster from the orange behavior card. Okay, so now we can still continue with the dual blade character's turn, and I can draw cards, or I can hang on to what I got. Let's see. I think I'm going to hang on to... Well, actually, I'm going to draw. Let's do finesse. Okay, so we'll play finesse. Get rid of twist here. All right, we're going to draw 2 cards because I am focused with my mastery. And we have crossover and air blade. So discard this card from your hand to generate center of movement. You may overrun the monster instead of moving. If you do, remove 1 struggle. Okay, I'm actually going to hold on to both of these. So I will end my turn. So we would now go into our attrition step. So what do we got? 1. All right, I am going to be protected because I have a yellow and a green. So I will take no damage. All right, we will discard all of the cards in my sequence. We will draw up to our hand size. Because I do have 2 cards left over, I get 1 stamina token here. And we're going to go 1, 2, and 3. Ooh, I like that hand. That's a great hand for me. Okay, so that is the end of the dual blade character's turn. We would need to go ahead and rotate the monster to the aggro player there. There we go. Rotate the Sirkaaj to the aggro player. And that will be the end of the round. So we will be in round number 4. Coming back up top, we have our consume phase. We are spending this Alamore potion, all right, from the heavy gun character. So our attrition deck is a 1, so we would get to heal 4. We would get to heal 4 for that, so that's good. Do we have any offensive cards? Yeah, we got quite a bit of offensive cards in our hand. Okay, so we would need to go to monster upkeep, so behavior refresh would discard both of these. So character that starts in the front sector at the end of the attrition phase and when he rotates. All right. We would need to go ahead and do struggle. So he would gain 2 struggle, bringing him up to 4. And now we would start off with our dual blade character. Now, since the monster is facing us, we are starting that sector in there. So we would need to flip this over. Wow, that's pretty rough. All right, if the active player has 5 or less cards in their deck, they suffer damage and exile the top card of their deck. If the round marker is at 5 or higher, Sirkaaj becomes vulnerable. All right, so let's start this first, and then he is going to boost this. So if the active player has 5 or less cards in their deck, they suffer damage. So we only have 3 cards left, so we would suffer damage, okay? So we will suffer 1 damage there, and we will exile. Well, so what we would do is we suffer damage. When we suffer damage, we discard the top 2 cards of our deck. All right, that would leave us with 1. Then we would exile the top card of our deck. All right, this would deck us out. The Dragon Wings will get another attack here, and we will take a fatigue damage for that. Before I shuffle, let's go ahead and continue. The round marker is at 4, not 5, so he's not vulnerable. We will spend 1 struggle token, and it says during the action phase, the active player must either play a defensive card as the first card in their sequence or suffer damage, okay? So let me go ahead and shuffle this up very quickly and see what we got. Thankfully, when I deck out, I get more damage. That's really good. So we will need to replace that. All right, perfect. So the dual blade character is going to need to move. So we will spend this stamina token to move and then continue with what we want to do. So we will move over to this sector right here. Now I do need to play a defensive card first or suffer damage. Unfortunately for me, I have no defensive cards. So I will need to take another damage, discarding the top 2 cards of my deck and bringing me at 4. Okay. Look, this guy's got 5 health left, and I'm about to start swinging on this dude because we are going to pop him off. Okay. Let's go with backstab first. So backstab I can play for free. All right, backstab I can play for free. This will have stealth, so we'll not activate this. Boom, just playing that for free. Hitting them for damage on this side. So we are now up to 5. So we are hitting them for 5 straight up damage. Again, that's not going to activate because that has stealth. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, next card in my sequence here. All right, we got, let me get that for you guys. All right, cut through. That's for free. I can overrun the monster instead of moving if I do remove 1 struggle. Let's go. You may immediately overrun the monster if you do draw 1 card. Draw 1 for each offensive card in my sequence. Interesting. Okay. Let's see. So how do I can draw cards, draw again. Okay, so let me do cut through here. So let's do cut through. All right, you may immediately overrun the monster, and if you do, draw 1 card. So let's see what we have. I think probably the smart thing is get rid of Airblade because this would allow me to draw 3 cards. I could save this for next turn to overrun the monster instead of moving. Or maybe it just might be smart to get rid of crossover. I think I get rid of crossover. So we'll get rid of crossover. All right. So I immediately overrun the monster and draw 1 card. So we're going to overrun him coming on this side. I will get to draw 1 card, which is Twist. And now I have the opportunity to decide if I want to do my base weapon damage or draw another card. And I think I will draw another card, which is going to be Shadow Step, okay? Now, I have played 2 offensive cards back-to-back, so we're going to need to deal another 3 damage. So that'd be 1, 2, and 3. All right. So let me make sure. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 3 would put us at 12, which would be enough to cause a wound, bringing him down to 4 health. All right, 4 health. Continuing with our turn, and then I get to remove a struggle token, bringing him down to 1. All right. Let's go ahead and play dancing. All right. Dancing is going to be an aggro card. I can draw 1 for each offensive card in my sequence. We will get rid of Shadow Step here. All right, getting rid of Shadow Step. Draw 1 for each card in my sequence. I do get to remove a struggle for that. So we are drawing 3 cards. So Crescent Strike, Precision Strike, and Perfection. Okay. I like it. I like it. We're doing some Damahe here. Okay. So increase your sequence limit by 1 this turn. So I now have a sequence limit of 6. Okay. Ooh-wee. I like what we got going on here. So next, what we are going to do is I'm going to play... so I got 3... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can get 7 damage. I can get 7 damage on him. I just got to figure out how I want to do this. We will play Airblade next, all right? So we will play Airblade. Okay. I will need to spend 1, and I will spend my twist here. Okay, we will spend twist. So I played this after a blue, so I'd get to remove 1 struggle token for that. And we are going to be dealing damage to him from this side. So I have played 4 offensive cards in my sequence here. So we are going to be dealing my base weapon damage, which is 5, and another 5 damage. So 10 damage coming out to the Sirkaaj right now. We would need to activate this. So the active player suffers a damage unless they discard a defensive card from their hand. If the player has 3 exiled cards or more, they suffer +1 instead of the normal. Okay, so I do have 2 exiled cards, but let's see. I need to discard a defensive card, which I'm okay with. I will discard that so I don't have to suffer damage. All right, so that was that. All right, moving on up. Last one, what we're going to do is... okay. I think we play Crescent Strike, so I can chain this for free after a red. All right, so we now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, I believe that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, so I actually needed to keep. That card. That's okay. Yeah. Ooh, I don't want to activate that red. I think I'm going to hold on to these 2. That's enough damage. That's a good chunk of damage that I put on him this turn. Unless I want to get spicy and just take that damage, which would be 1. And then, the hard part is I took damage. I would take damage again from attrition. So that's 2 damage. That would put me at 6. But I'm dealing a crap ton of damage to him. You know what? Let's do it. Okay, so I'm actually going to not discard this Perfection card here. And I will suffer 1 damage, because that's all I'm getting. 2 cards will be discarded from my deck, all right? So we are at 3, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yep, so that's 5, okay? So then what I would do is play Crescent Strike, okay? Play Crescent Strike, increase my sequence limit this turn. I'm hitting him for another regular damage, so 5 damage is coming out. So 12 would hit the threshold, 3 would be left over. All right, 3 would be left over, dropping him down to 3. Okay, and then we would need to activate this red. So the active player becomes threatened. If he's already threatened, they would suffer damage. So active player becomes threatened. Where's this threatened token? All right. We'd put this last red out. Now his deck is empty, so he would have escalation there. So we would just get 1, and we would need to shuffle this deck up. All right. Shuffle that deck up. Perfect. Okay. That's what we're at there. Okay, last one we have is Piercing Strike. All right, Piercing Strike. So here's what's kind of cool about this. We will play Piercing Strike. You may immediately overrun the monster. I will discard this card from my hand. Since I overrun the monster, this does count as a movement. So I will get rid of the threatened token there. All right. And I have 6 cards in my sequence. I'm dealing 5 plus an additional 7 plus I'm going to deal an additional 3. All right. So that's 10. That's 15 damage coming out to this guy right here. So we need 15 damage. Let me kind of do some math here. So 15 damage, we need essentially, what is that, 9, 10, 11, 12? So 9 would cause a wound, bringing him down to 2. And then we have 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we'd have 6 left over, if my math is correct. So this would bring him down to 2, bringing out our third stance here. So now we have 9 toughness per player. The Sirkaaj gains struggle tokens equal to the number of exiled players. The areas of attack are still the same, and now he's dealing 2 damage per player. So we do have 3 exiled cards that are out. All right, this Wrath of the Beast is permanent. Okay, and then we have the last one, which is Frostbite. So when Sirkaaj suffers a wound, the aggro player exiles the top card of their deck. They then suffer damage equal to the number of their exiled cards. Okay, so we would have 6 damage left over there, and we would need to activate this card. So Sirkaaj gains 1 struggle per player. The active player becomes threatened. All right, so active player is the dual blade character. They become threatened, and he gains 2. All right, so 4, 5, 6. Unfortunately, he is going to unleash. All right, so he is unleashing. So 2 damage to the dual blade character. So 5, 6, and 7. However, she does have less than 5 cards. And so that will be an additional 2 more. So that will be 9. So 9 damage on the dual blade character. And we would need to discard the top 2 cards of our deck there. All right. So let me just make sure. Yep. Discard. Double damage. Okay. That is good for there. The heavy gun character, same thing, is going to be taking 4 damage, which is going to put them at 5. Okay, so that is pretty much everything for the dual blade character's turn. So we would now need to go to attrition, all right, which we do have an attrition level of 1, and that is going to knock out. All right, we are knocking out the dual blade character. All right, so again, let me just go through these steps really quickly of the of our KO. All right, if you are the active player, your turn ends immediately. Remove all damage tokens from your hunter board. If you are have the aggro token, we would pass it to the next player. All right, we will discard our entire hand of cards, which we have. Oops, we would add a wound card. All right, we're going to add a wound card to our discard pile. Choose either our helm or card that is not currently depleted. and place a deplete token on top of that. All right, lay our miniature down on the board, take a KO token and place it on the red side face up. Okay, actually I think we'd get rid of that too. All right, and the monster will turn to the aggro player. So basically all these cards will be discarded. Man, that is that's very unfortunate right there. Okay, so this monster will turn to the aggro player, which is now our heavy gun character, and the dual blade character is knocked out. Okay, so that is going to be the end of the dual blade character. However, I did realize I just made a mistake. So there's a certain order of things with behavior cards that would need to activate in order to do that. So what would happen is, if you guys remembered, I took that attrition damage, which is what knocked me out, right? So at the end of the attrition phase, we would have swapped over to the heavy gun character. At the end of the attrition phase, well, technically first, when the monster rotated to face the heavy gun character, I would need to activate this. So each player in the rear sector would suffer damage unless they discard a green from their hand. If there are no players in the rear sector, players in the flank sector are targeted instead. There are no players in either sector, so that basically just goes away. And then at the end of that attrition phase, we would play Biting Cold here, which would remove one struggle and the active player exiles the top card of their deck, okay? So we would remove this, and the heavy gun character would need to exile the top card of their deck, all right? So then we've had everything pass to the heavy gun character. We basically discarded everything. The monster has already turned there, and that is the conclusion of the dual blade character's turn. So now we would take it up from the heavy gun character, and look guys, I am on the struggle bus right now. I need to figure something out. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to move. So I will discard Swift Deflection here. When you discard this card from your hand, draw one card. So we would use this to move. All right. And so then because of decking out, I do take fatigue damage here. Now, because I am moving, I will go ahead and get rid of this threatened token. All right. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Also, I would get to draw a card here because my health is critical at the start of my turn. So at the start of my turn, I would get to draw another card, which is Prompt Jump. Technically, I would have done that in reverse. I should have drew the card first, then I would have moved. So, but either way, I get my two cards. Okay, so we are going to choose to move in the sector with our dual blade character. Now, on a player's turn, they can discard 2 stamina to in order to what am I trying to say here? In order to take a revive action. So I'll need this reload 1. I can actually get Cannonball off maybe. Interesting. Okay. Let me see here. So if I had to get rid of 1 to play this. This was allow me to reload 1, but then it would activate a behavior card. Oof, I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I want to activate any of these behavior cards. I need to just focus on trying to stay alive. Okay. So I think what we will just do is... we'll get rid of... but I want that quick reload. I want to keep all of my cards. I like all my cards. Okay, do we really need this reload 3? I mean, you could after Cannonball. Reload 1 is actually really helpful. Behavior card is revealed. Discard this card from this, spin a bullet in order to cancel the effects of that card. So I could cancel the effects by playing reload 1, which that could be a possibility. You know what? I think I might do that. So let's play quick reload. All right, this is going to cost me 1. I will get to reload 1. So I'll get to reload 1. I will discard this stamina token in order to do that. So we do reload. All right, we will place a second counter on this card. Oops. And that is going to give us our mastery. Whenever I spend a bullet is when I ignite. Okay. Now, we would activate this orange card. So the Sirkaaj gains 2 struggle. The active player would draw 1 card. Okay. So 2 struggle would get him to that. Do I want to cancel that card? He would only need 3 struggle. I get to draw a card though. And I get to hold on to this negation. Yeah, I think I might do that. So he would gain 2 struggle, bringing him up to 3. And we get to draw a card. Okay, so we get long range. All right. So that was our first action there. Okay. So our second action that we will do is we will next. I could play Cannonball now and get rid of my reloads and negation, or I need to focus on reviving somebody first. So I will take the revive action, get rid of reload 3. So that's 2 stamina. So when you revive a character, you basically just flip that over onto the black side. So he has been revived. Okay. Now we could play Cannonball. This would be a good time to play Cannonball. Threatened. I think I'm going to do front sector. So let's see if I played Cannonball. All right. Let's see. I could spend 1, 2, and then 3 and 4. The next red you play, while this card's top of the discard pile, prevent any attrition. Prevent any attrition damage. When you would suffer damage, you may discard this card to prevent that damage. And I can pretty much use this. Man, these are some really good cards. Let's see. Trying to think. I mean, that's pretty good. And I have to spend a bullet. Okay. So if I play Cannonball, I'd have to get rid of both of these. You know what? I think let's do it. Or do I keep my bullets? I don't know what I do here. This might be a turn where I just kind of hold on to what I got. And then until our dual blade character can survive. Or the next red I play gains stealth. I would not draw any cards. And I would just gain a stamina token. I think, you know what? I think I just got to play stealthy. Or just play conservative here. So I will actually end my turn. All right. So I'm going to end my turn. We would do attrition now. So 1, all right, so I do not take any damage. I protect that. We would discard all cards in our thing. We would draw back up to our hand size, but my hand size is full. Because my hand size is full, I do get a stamina token. All right. And that would be the end of the round. Okay, so the Sirkaaj return to the active player. We would drop us down to round 5, and then we would bring it back up top. Okay, so consume phase. Do I want to consume anything? No, I do not want to consume anything. Behavior refresh, so we are discarding this and playing this rampage card. All right, we would need to get him to struggle per player. So he is up to 5, which is getting dangerously close. All right. And then we would do our player turns. Okay. So we are starting with the heavy gun character. Now, a couple things are going to activate here. I do have a Bananas plant, and we are in the front sector. So both of those are going to activate. So I get to heal myself for 1. All right, this card is going to activate first. So Frost Jaws, if the active player has 5 or less cards in their deck, which we do not, they would suffer damage and exile a top card of their deck. If the round marker is at 5 or higher, the Sirkaaj becomes vulnerable. So I'm just going to use that token right there. That vulnerable token is whenever I do damage, I can spend that token to double the damage I'm doing to the Sirkaaj. And then he will actually spend a struggle, which is kind of helpful to me. It says, during the action phase this turn, the active player must either play a defensive card as the first card in their sequence or suffer damage. All right. Then we have this Rampage card, which is going to go off. And Sirkaaj returns to the player who currently sustains the most damage. That player suffers damage unless they discard a green from their hand. And, so pretty much discard a, I have to play a green. We're going to do a prompt jump then, basically, prompt jump. We will do prompt jump, discard that, so I do not suffer any damage, all right? We do need to refill this, and he is escalating, all right? So he will put that back on top of his deck, and we need another card here. Ooh, gotta do a better job of shuffling this stuff. Okay, we have the threatened symbol there. Okay, so because I also have 5 health, I will get to draw a card at the start of my turn, which is Cover Fire. All right. We do need to move. Okay, so we will need to move so we don't become threatened. We will spend this stamina token to move. And I am moving back over here. And you know what? I've completely forgot about these rocks, how they can take attrition damage for me. But anyway, let's go ahead and do some things to this guy here. So I think I need to play a defensive card first. So we would have to play long range. All right. The next red I play in my sequence gains stealth. So I think we'll just get rid of Cover Fire. All right. We'll get rid of Cover Fire for that. Then this actually helps, we have Cannonball. So then I can play Cannonball. So drop Cannonball down, spend 3 bullets. I will need to spend 4 stamina for this. So there's 1, 2. And then when you discard this card, generates stamina for a red, it generates 2. So there is my 4 stamina. Okay. So let's take a look at Cannonball here. You may spend 3 bullets. If you do, stun the monster, increase the damage this attack deals by 4, and another player can help you generate stamina for this. So this card gains stealth, so it will not activate anything. All right. I am spending 3 bullets. All 3 of my bullets are being spent. Whenever I spend a bullet, I place a counter on the discard pile here, and I'm just going to put this down below. Actually, I'll just put it to the side so we know. All right. When the monster escalates, he's going to suffer damage equal to that. So this is adding 4 damage. So 8 damage is coming out. We got 6. So we should be at 14. All right. So we should be at 10, 11, 12. So 11, 12, 13, and 14. Okay. 14 damage on the Sirkaaj there. All right. And I get to stun something, which is one of these cards here. And we are going to just stun. That's going to be the lowest, so that would be discarded. We will stun that one. All right. We're just going to stun that one. Okay. So I have no more cards in my hand. Okay, no more cards in my hand. We will need to do attrition now. So we have 2. All right, that's unfortunate. So we have 2. The attrition deck is going to get shuffled back up, and we are taking some damage. All right. Now I'm only taking 2 damage, thankfully. To that, but I will need to discard the top 2 cards of my deck. So 2 damage coming my way. I'm at 7, and then discard the top 2 cards of my deck. Okay, And unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to survive, but we'll see. So now we would come to the, so that'd be the end of my turn. So we would get rid of both of these. All right, and then the drawback up to my hand side limit. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, we would draw back up to 5 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we will turn the monster to face the aggro player right there. All right, now it would be the dual blade character's turn. We would remove this, so that goes away. So the dual blade character is alive, all right? So when the dual blade character comes alive, we're gonna shuffle this deck up, draw up to the hand size limit, all right? Stand our standee up, and they are going to have their turn. All right, so let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so the dual blade character is back. We might have just saved us temporarily. So that's what we get from the dual blade character. Not very good. So that would be the dual blade character's turn. That is going to be the end of the next round. All right, so we would need to go back up top to the consume phase. Not consuming anything, behavior refresh. So this would get discarded. Rampage card comes out. All right. Kara, the dual blade character, we actually need to put her standee up. Okay. And then what would happen is we are going to struggle. So 1 struggle per player, that is going to unleash him. All right. So he is going to become unleashed. So 2 damage is coming to the dual blade character. All right, 2 damage on her. That is going to be 4 damage for the heavy gun character. So the heavy gun character is knocked out here. So heavy gun character is getting knocked out. Our aggro is going to switch over to the dual blade character. Let me get this token for her. All right, we need to get a wound into the deck and get a deplete token. Actually, we would remove this at the end of the round, so that's perfect. So deplete token there, and we will flip the miniature over and rotate over to that side. And actually, I could have survived probably by blocking that attrition damage, but I forgot for that. Okay. So we are facing the monster here. So dual blade character. We are starting off with the dual blade character. This stun would have gone away at the end of the round. We would be in round number 6 technically here. Okay, so this is the hand that we got. So we are going to spend for movement, which we will spend the Wall of Blades. All right, so that's going to be our movement here. And we will, do I just try and survive or, yeah. So I think what I'm going to do is I actually start my turn in this sector so I can heal. Okay, so we're going to move in this sector here. I will play Shadow Step to revive our heavy gun character, okay? Okay, so I remembered we should be at 14 damage on the card. Just sorry guys, I'm all over the place right now. Okay, so if we remove so that'd be 3 damage coming my way if I played an attack card. Which I don't want to play. Want to play a green card maybe. Or I can just hold on to what I got. I think I'm just going to hold on to what I got. So, well, actually, no, if I take damage, if I take attrition damage, I can block it with the rock. So, we are just going to hold on to what I have right here. So, let's go ahead and do attrition damage, which is 3. Yep, so I'm going to hide behind this rock here. He's going to break open the rock and destroy the rock. So I will take no damage. All right, we would draw back up to my hand size. So 1 and 2. Okay. So 1 and 2. And that's what we got, 5 cards. The Karja will now go ahead and turn to me. Then it would be the heavy gun character's turn, so we would go ahead and remove that. And we would get to draw back up, stand her miniature up, and we'd get ready to play. All right, I managed somehow to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I managed somehow to survive. Okay. All right. So stand her miniature back up. They are there, and we would advance the round to round number 7, and we would take up back up top. Consume. I'm not going to consume anything. Behavior refresh would be both of these cards. All right. So in the front sector here, boom and boom. All right. He would gain 2 struggle, bringing him up to 4. And we are going to start with the dual blade character. So he is in the front sector. The dual blade character is in the front sector, so we would need to do this. So if the active player have 5 cards or less in their deck, we do not. We're good. He would spend 1, and we must play a defensive card in our sequence first. Okay. Let's see what we got. We're going to need to move. Cards gain stealth. That's actually really good. We're going to need to move. I need to play a defensive card first. We will play... let's play Perfection. I don't want to activate that green, so yeah, we'll get rid of Perfection. All right. That will be my... Well, actually, I should actually have a stamina token, so I would get rid of that stamina token, and that would be perfect. Again, sorry guys, I'm all over the place with this. See, what happens is when these playthroughs are so long, I can't do them all at one time. I have to start and stop. So when I stop and come back, I kind of get out of my rhythm here. Okay, so we will move over to the side where this Bathanas plan is. All right, the first thing we're going to do is play Twist, and I'm going to do Perfection for it. So Twist, get rid of Perfection. This will allow me to draw 1 card, which is Reactive Defense. Okay. Next, we are going to play Shadow Strike for free. Cards gain stealth until the end of my turn. All right. We will remove 1 of these struggle tokens right here. So now I don't have to worry about anything getting crazy. And I can chain this for free after a blue, which I will. Thank you so much. So we will play Scythe for free. All right. We will get to remove 1 struggle. And we are going to do some damage. So we are dealing 5 damage plus 8 from Battle Dance. All right, and we will not activate any behavior cards because our cards have stealth. So we are at 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we're dealing another 8. So where we originally left off, so that's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 4 would be enough to deal the damage, bringing him down to 1. And then we would have 4 left over. Okay, we are so close, so close. So when he suffers a wound, the aggro player, which is us, must exile the top card of his deck, which is here. And we're going to get damage equal to the number exiled cards, which is 3. All right, so we got 1, 2, and 3. All right, so we're at 4 damage out of 6. Oof. We need to find a way to deal him. Okay. I do believe that is everything. Again, no cards will activate because of stealth. He's got 4 on him. We just need to find a way to put 14 more damage on this guy. You may discard, when you suffer damage, you may discard this card to immediately overrun a monster and draw 1 card. Well, look at that. I will do so. So, well, I think it's, again, this is the tricky part. Then they suffer damage equal to, I would say, I don't know, this is tricky. Because it specifically references that, so I don't think I would be able to play this. You may immediately overrun the monster if you do draw 1 card. Ooh, do I play that, draw a card, or keep this? When I suffer damage, I can overrun a monster. You know what? I'm just going to play cut through right here. So we'll play cut through, get rid of reactive defense here. We are going to overrun the monster and draw a card. So overrun the monster. All right, draw one card, which is a wound. All right, at the end of the round, discard this card from your hand. And we're just going to deal our weapon damage to the Sirkaaj here. So 3 damage is coming out, so we should be at 7. So 5, 6, 7, okay? I have no more cards left in my hand. We'll need to do attrition, so 2. Okay, so I would suffer attrition damage here. And unfortunately, I had to draw that. I should have just played the orange, okay? I would take 2 damage, and the dual blade character would officially be knocked out because that's 6. And I should have thought about that a little easier. So 6, we are getting depleted, and we're basically knocked out of the game. So the dual blade character is officially knocked out of the game. We're just going to turn all of our cards over there and just remove her miniature from there. So her turn is going to end. All right. All these cards go back. Wound card goes back in there. And boom, boom, boom. We are officially KO'd. So both of ours would be depleted, so we are out of the game. Super, super unfortunate, okay? But that would basically end everything. The Sirkaaj would turn to us, which is the heavy gun character's turn. And now we got to find a way to try and deal 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 11 damage. 11 damage to the Sirkaaj. Okay, so we are starting our turn, and we need to figure out what we want to do. We are going to move with this swift deflection right here. So move over into this sector right here and draw a card, which is Barrage of Bullets. So it'd be nice if I had something that I could reload to. Actually, I can reload 2 right there. Okay. So, can we deal enough damage to this guy? Let's see. We will play Recharging, which is reload 2. All right, I'm going to need to spend 1. We will spend our Exertion here. All right, to go ahead and reload 2. So that's 1 and 2. Whenever we reload, we can search our deck or discard pile for a red and add it to your hand. We will find Cover Fire. We're going to do Cover Fire, shuffle our deck back up. Okay, here we go. This is what we're trying to do. I need to deal 11 damage, okay? Can I get 11 damage in on this turn? Okay. So spend any number of bullets. Spend a bullet to increase this by 3. Win a behavior card and spend a bullet in order to cancel the effects. Okay. I think I might be able to get away with this. Okay. Let's go Barrage of Bullets. Barrage of Bullets. All right, spend any number of bullets to increase the damage this attack does for 2 each bullet. So I will have no more bullets, and gunfire is not going to help us because we need to spend bullets. So get rid of this. We will spend 2 bullets, adding 4 damage to the attack. That is going to be 8 damage. All right, so we need to get a 5. All right, and then we need to get another 3 coming out. So that would just be a 5. So we're at 15. Okay, 15 damage. That is a red. So what do we have here? The active player becomes threatened. If he's already threatened, we would suffer damage. All right, we are threatened. Okay, and we just need to deal 3 more damage. And thankfully, we are able to do that. I am just going to play Cover Fire for free. Boom, drop that down, and that is going to be our 4 damage coming to the Sirkaaj. Basically dropping him down That'd be 15. Yep, 4, that'd be 19. He needs 18. Boom, we conflict the last wound on him, and the Karja here has been taken out. Boom, 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 boom. We were with the heavy gun, taking him out. We have defeated the Sirkaaj, all right? We've defeated it one way or the other. Let me go ahead and read this conclusion, and then we will get into all the goodies in that battle prep video for Chapter 2. Steaming blood gushes from the Sirkaaj's corpse, staining the pristine white snow. As you catch your breath and examine the creature's fangs, you see the faint glimmer of a torch in the distance. A group of seekers who survived the attack emerge from a rocky ravine and walk towards you, trembling in fear and from the cold. There's an icy wind coming from the mountains, indicating a storm is brewing, which will rage towards the south, says one of the men, whose faces have been marked by their close encounter with death. We have been here for a long time, and we can say for sure that this frost is not natural. There is something we still do not understand. The cold compelled the monsters to hunt. They were thirsty for our blood. They massacred all our camps. Ours is the only group left, he says gloomingly. When they attacked, the sky was red. The northern lights have been changing color and fluttering in the sky like a stormy sea for some time, adds another wounded seeker. You look up at the sky as if searching for a guiding light in the darkness to avoid getting lost. You need answers, some mark of your destiny written in the stars. As you make your way south, you turn for one last glance at the unreachable lands to the north. Up there in the sky, from the edge of the world, a red aurora burns bright among the stars like an ancient wound that is still bleeding. The depths of the north have not yet revealed their darkest secret to you. Quest rewards on page 20. All right, guys, well, that is the conclusion here of quest number 46, the Ravenous Winter. As always, be on the lookout for our battle prep, our chapter 3 battle prep video, which is going to introduce our quest rewards here, talk about what we unlocked, talk about chapter 3, and then get some polls up for you guys to see what quest you want to do next and what items you want to forge. I got this fly buzzing around in my face. If you guys enjoyed this content, smash that like button, hit that notification bell, comment down below any mistakes that I've made. I appreciate all you guys pointing out some of the errors that I've made. And as always, guys, if you are not subscribed to our channel, please go ahead and subscribe so we can keep bringing you some more awesome content. All right, guys, have a great one. Bye.